people from all different places. We don't always have quite this crowd on Friday nights. I would like to again thank Steve and the Search and Transition Committee. They've done a fine job, and we're very happy to have Rabbi Ari with us. And that's really all I wanted to say. I'm going to turn it over to Rabbi Charles Kroloff, past president of the CCAR and Rabbi Emeritus of Temple Emmanuel in Westfield, New Jersey.
What a marvelous gathering. Isn't Shabbat fantastic? I was sitting here this evening thinking, even if my beloved Mets, even if they sink deeper into the hole which the Kansas City Royals dug for them earlier this week, it still shocks. And if they should start to climb out, it's a double Shabbat. We are very fortunate. But I will not sink into despair. As a matter of fact, I'm full of joy. But let me first begin by paying tribute to the memory of Rabbi Noam Koch, Zikra L'Bracha, and to you, the members of Temple Shalom. I know that Rabbi Koch brought strength and vision to this community. He brought wisdom and compassion. He brought his caring. He gave you decades of marvelous rabbinic service. And you're here today largely because of him. And I know that Rabbi Rosenberg will be standing on his spiritual shoulders. And your reputation as a synagogue precedes you, and it is a solid one. Your volunteer leadership, your administrator, Mara Potter, your innovative approach to education, your wisdom in engaging an interim rabbi. Not everybody does that. Very smart Rabbi Salsa. I'm honored to stand in this pulpit tonight. Even though there are some congregants from Springfield, New Jersey, my neighboring town, who've heard this story, I'm going to share it with you once more. The Pope had taken the lead in Catholic-Jewish relations, and the Prime Minister then of Israel, Ariel Sharon, felt that he wanted to reciprocate. So he calls the Pope and he says, "Hi, Pope. In honor of our improved relations, let's have a golf tournament between the College of Cardinals and some of us." So the Pope, surprised, immediately accepts. And then he picks up the phone and calls the head of the College of Cardinals and said, "What do I do?" Oy vey, or something like that, he said. We don't know anything about golf. And the president of the college says, "Don't worry, I've got the answer. We have out there Jack Nicklaus, and we will appoint him Cardinal Food." So the Pope proceeds to do that. Jack Nicklaus is delighted to represent the church. And a week passes, and Jack Nicklaus calls the Pope. "Oh, I'm so glad to hear from you," the Pope says. So Nicholas says, "Your Holy Father, I have good news and bad news." Okay, well, let me hear the good news first. The good news is that I played the tournament of my life. My tee shots were longer than ever, my approach shots were extraordinarily accurate, and my putts were, well, just right in the cup. "That's fantastic," said the Pope, "so what's the bad news?" "Well," said Cardinal Nicholas, "the bad news is that I lost to Rabbi Tiger Woods." exactly true, but what is true is that you don't need Rabbi Tiger Woods. You have Rabbi Ari Rosenberg. He is a very good rabbi. One marvelous example of that is this beautiful service. His liturgical talents are displayed here. It's a very moving service, and we haven't even gotten to the end of it. So I did a little research in anticipation of tonight, and I learned a couple of things about Rabbi Rosenberg from people who know something about him. And this is what I found out about him. I never knew this. That when he was about 4 years old, his family called him Ari Logical, because he wanted to discuss everything, and he still does. I also learned that I knew this, that he was a happy camper at the URJ Eisner camp in Great Barrington. And he knows that Jewish camping is one of the building blocks of Jewish life. One of your rabbi's most memorable summer jobs was working as a furniture mover. Check out his muscles. As a kid, he rarely traveled alone. He always had a pack accompanying him, which is very good training for being a rabbi. He was also captain of his high school cross country.
Oh, I was on the team. I was not captain. I was actually the slowest man on the team.
Your mother, you were the captain. Of everything. Were you also an accomplished musician of sax and clarinet? Often playing with a fedora hat, which is now a very lovely cup. Your new rabbi is a young man of many talents. Most of all, he has a powerful desire to teach Torah, to enlist you in works of social justice, to comfort you when you are in need, and I'm warning you, to disturb you when you get too comfortable. Speaking of disturbing memories, still disturbing, next Wednesday will mark the 20th yahrzeit of the assassination of Yitzhak Rabbi in Tel Aviv. I love Israel, and I assume that this room is filled with people who love Israel. And that's why I'm disturbed sometimes by things that happen. Of course, I was profoundly disturbed by the assassination. I still am, because I don't think Israel, and as a matter of fact, the rest of us have come to understand the implications of that. This was brought home to me powerfully when I read it a few days ago at a soccer match in Israel. Team Beitar, which is one of the most raucous and I think obnoxious team in the country, was playing Tel Aviv Maccabi. And the supporters of Beitar started to chant, Yigal Amir, Yigal Amir, Yigal Amir. Refrain from even to say those words, the assassin of Yitzhak Rabin was pronounced as a hero. So one of these days, your rabbi is going to need to speak about the challenges in Israel today. It's an extraordinary country dealing with extraordinary security challenges, but which also has very serious social issues and democratic issues. And we American Jews have a responsibility to be part of the solution, not the problem. as a synagogue, you will be engaging in it. And we'll do it in memory of Yitzhak Rabbi, whose Yahrzeit Memorial this coming week. So I grew up in the South, in Atlanta to be specific. Anybody else? Yes? How many Atlantans?
Just me. You probably
Henry
know my dad.
Grady High School, the Temple, all that stuff.
Yeah, the temple.
Yeah, good stuff.
I'll talk to you.
It was a time when 95% of the Jews of Atlanta belonged to at least one synagogue. Some two, some three synagogues. No longer. Not in Atlanta, not in New Milford, not anywhere. The affiliation rate in Atlanta is about 30%. In Los Angeles, it's 14% of the Jewish population. Many synagogues of today won't be standing 20 years from now. So which ones will survive? Which ones are going to make it? Well, last week, Abraham went on a journey in Parshat Lech Lecha. Journeys aren't easy. Journeys are difficult. In the Bible, no one willingly goes on a journey. God directs Abram to go to the land that I shall show you. And Sarah pushes Hagar out of the tent, and Jacob flees from Esau. And Egypt's Pharaoh pursues the Israelites to the sea and beyond. And synagogues go on a journey. You've been on a journey, you are on a journey. The synagogues that will survive the journeys are those that are always transforming themselves. Not the ones that wait at the door for Jews to walk in, but the ones that reach beyond the walls. It's not easy. It gets harder and harder to find our fellow Jews. We look for them now in the aisles of supermarkets, in Starbucks, in bars, and online. And we look and we seek them out. The synagogues that will exist in the 20 years from now will be those that build relationships. Authentic human relationships, like Martin Buber taught us. That all real living, Buber taught, is meeting. And when we meet another person in full acceptance, we're affirming that person's goodness, and God is part of that relationship. Have you ever had the experience of a really authentic, what Rosenberg calls I know relationship? Incidentally, there's somebody in this congregation that I taught music to in confirmation. Sam, where are you? We're discussing it. He didn't love Rosenberg as much as I do, but we have authentic relationships nonetheless, right? So, when we have these relationships, we can feel God's presence there. Now, in this week's portion, Vayera, what's Abram doing? Anybody know where we find Abraham in this week's portion? He's sitting where? Outside his tent. Sitting outside his tent. According to tradition, he's recovering from a little surgery. Yeah. The circumcision. Okay? And Vayera Adonai, God appears to Abram. And then there's no further reference to God, but the reference is to three apparent strangers who show up. And the rabbinic commentators suggest that these are God's messengers, God's malachim, God's messengers. To Abram, they are strangers, but he immediately responds to them with hospitality. One might say with audacious hospitality. That's a term that Rabbi Rick Jacobs, who's now the president of the URJ, had acquired from the pastor of one of the mega churches in California. Audacious hospitality. So in real meaning, we create community and we create audacious hospitality. My gosh, we say, we are really welcome here. We really feel warm and caring. Most people yearn for community. Synagogues that respond, they really they really will survive. And another quality of synagogues that will be standing in the year 2035 are those that help Jews find meaning in life. When the planes hit the World Trade Center in 9/11, a lot of us were, the whole nation was in shock. It was a few days before Rosh Hashanah. Most of us had written our sermons. They were all set, ready to go. But we immediately went back to our computers and we rewrote. I heard about a rabbi who decided, I've written my sermons, I'm comfortable with them, got a lot to do, I'm not going to rewrite. He delivered the same sermon that he wrote before 9/11, after 9/11. The congregation was not real happy with it, because the rabbi was not responding to the needs of the people. We're offering meaning to life. God forbid we should never have such an event. But when there will be times of crisis, and your rabbi will be there for you. Talking to a young woman in her 30s just a couple of days ago, and I asked her, why are you so involved in Jewish life today? And she said, 9/11, I was a senior in college and I was in profound shock. I went into great shock. And it was through my rabbi and my teachers at the synagogue and the Hillel that really helped me through that and helped me find meaning. And that's why I'm a committed Jew today. That lovely sound out there is one more quality of the synagogue synagogues that will endure. Synagogues will endure when they're places of joy, where kids are running and having fun, where board meetings are inspiring and don't last more than 90 minutes. If I leave you with any gift, any or all of you, it's a 90-minute board meeting. Where it will be a pleasure to walk through the front door, where warm coffee or cider meets you, where smiles embrace you, and songs of joy burst forth. And as I conclude, I have one request. Your rabbi will take good care of you. I ask you to take good care of my friend Ari Rosenberg. He would never ask you to do this. You can't, it's not really in his nature. So I will. One of the most difficult periods of my rabbinic life was 9/11, when our congregation lost 4 members, the World Trade Center, and one on United 93. But I had a difficult time last Monday when I co-officiated the funeral for a young man whom I named and who died at age 24 of a rare blood disease. On Tuesday, someone asked me, Rabbi, how are you doing? I know you've had a rough week or two. How are you doing? Someone asked me that as well the week of 9/11. It doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't need to happen all the time. It shouldn't. But from time to time, go up to this wonderful man and say and ask, Rabbi, how are you doing? You always want to know about us and take care of us. We want to be sure that you're taking care of us well. My friends, enjoy your journey with Rabbi Rosenberg. You have a solid synagogue, and you will remain solid as you innovate and transform as you continue to build warm relationships, as you sing with joy, and thank you so much. As you help people find meaning in their lives, as you ensure that this is a joyful place, and as you take care of each other in times of joy and in times of stress. My prayer is that you and your new rabbi go forward from strength to strength as you build a Kehillah Kedoshah, a truly holy, sacred congregation. Amen. So let me ask you now to turn to page 19, the bottom of the page. And before we begin the reading at the bottom of the page, I'd just like to share a couple of sentences from one of Rabbi Rosenberg's colleagues, Rabbi Gordon Goldstone, who is a member of Temple Shalom Shalom in Springfield, and worked with Rabbi Rosenberg, taught at his request. Rabbi Goldstone asked us to know this. May Rabbi Rosenberg's efforts reflect strength and wisdom and bear testimony to the great heritage of rabbinic leadership. May his ongoing efforts on behalf of the congregation bring honor to Temple Shalom, to all who love and labor for Amcha, to the entire household of Israel. Now at the bottom of 19. We gather here this Shabbat to mark the installation of Ari Rosenberg as spiritual leader, teacher, and rabbi at Temple Shalom.
In the days of the Talmud, our tradition set forth its guidance for the generations to come. Say the Torah, provide for yourself a rabbi and teacher.
Rabbi Halakha ben Dosa said, when 10 people sit together and occupy themselves with the Torah, the Shekhinah, God's holy presence, abides among them, as it is said, God stands in the godly congregation.
Rabbi, we ask that you teach us Torah so that we may experience God's holy presence in our midst.
You shall teach them diligently to your children. The future of Judaism rests with us and with our children.
Rabbi, we ask that we may be partners in the Jewish education of our children, and that you help us to create for our children a future of which we can all be proud.
Hillel said, if I am not for myself, who shall be for me? If I care only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when?
Rabbi, as a congregation, we have a commitment to social action in our community to help others. We look to you as our partner and our guide in the work as we move along, making the world a better place.
Our tradition teaches that a person is given 3 names. Parents give one, peers give one, and one that he or she acquires. The name that one acquires for oneself is better than all the others.
Rabbi, the name that we acquire for ourselves derives from how we treat our fellow congregants in their hour of need. We look to you as our partner and our guide in these acts of character, proper treatment of others.
At 13, our children become adults in the eyes of the Jewish community. Our youth groups inspire them to grow as Reformed Jews and to connect with other Jews, other young Jews from near and far.
Rabbi, we ask you to be a guide and teacher to our youth, to become an important and unique friend to our children, and a special person in their lives.
We are young and old, some are new to the congregation, and others are long-standing members. The congregation prays together and plays together, dancing in each other's simchas and consoling each other at times of grief. The congregation is a kehillah, a community.
Rabbi, we look to you to work in partnership with our leaders who are entrusted to maintain the strength and vitality of this congregation.
Temple Shalom provides for so many people in such different ways. For some, it is a place for study, prayer, and for spiritual growth. Others delight in discovering an ever-expanding network of social connections. Many find that Temple Shalom is like a second home. You come to sing, to work, to give, and to love. For everyone, this is a place of connection to God, to our tradition, to the community of the Jewish people, and to each other.
We will also connect you with your Rabbi. We will study with you, learn from you, and be guided by you. With you, we will share our deepest sorrows and our greatest joys. You will help us name our children and bury our dead, and you will provide an anchor for us as we face life's triumphs and tragedies.
May Temple Shalom's connection with Rabbi Rosenberg be characterized by mutual respect, kindness, and generosity.
May they mark the official beginning of our relationship. May we and Rabbi become blessings to each other. Let us say Amen.
Amen.
So now we're going to have a passing of the Torah. I would call forward past presidents, so Patty's here and Howard's here. We have 3 past presidents,
Murray
right?
Kessler is here.
What was that?
Murray Kessler.
Murray, were you president? Murray, okay, excellent. Murray, double time. Twice is mine. And we'll also have dates with our current president, and I will be the recipient. I will just sort of line up in order in which we were presidents. Would everyone please rise? And then Patty will be next. Then Howard, and then David. Together.
God be with you and bless you with health and strength. May the light of Torah shine strongly within you, illuminating all those you touch. May your teachings take us higher and higher. May God bless your efforts with success and bless the choices you make. May Adonai bless this community with unity and peace. May you lead us from strength to strength. And may God bless this new path you are about to undertake. And bless you with courage and the power to be bold. May Adonai watch over you and shield you from harm. May you be a blessing to this world, to this community, and to this congregation. And may blessings surround you now and always.
You can all take a seat.
You are immensely blessed. children, adopt them, and take this wonderful journey. And so, I'd like to begin the blessing process by offering the traditional legal blessing of our people. May God bless you and keep you, may God spirit shine on you and grace to you. May God lift up the divine spirit upon you and peace. Yivrecha Adonai b'shmorecha, Yireh Adonai panav v'necha, Yisad Adonai panav v'lecha, V'yasem lecha shalom. Now I'd like to invite your father to take all the time he has. No, I'll keep it brief. Let me take that same blessing, Birkat Kohanim, and kind of rephrase it, if I may. May God bless you and keep you safe and secure, whole and happy. May God's radiance shine on you and in all your endeavors, creating an aura of gentleness and grace. And may your life and your rabbinate always reflect the divine virtues of compassion, of conscience, of holiness, of humility, of learning, of love, of patience, and of peace. Let us say, Amen. Please rise. I didn't know where to stay though. I'll be ready for that. This prayer is known as the priestly benediction, Birkat Kohanim. The rabbis have co-opted it, but for the last few centuries, parents have been saying it over their children at the Friday night dinner table. And Ari, as you and your brothers move on in your lives, and there are many a Shabbat where Karen and I are just by ourselves. As we sing the Birkat Kohanim at the dinner table, I look at the pictures of you and your brothers and their families, and we are the ones who feel truly blessed. This is a blessing that you say as you put Ezra and Maayan to bed regularly and shaking their heads. It's a prayer that you offered to me as I retired 4 months ago. And it brought back a memory when I said a blessing over you at your ordination. Was it about a decade ago? Right, so I want to add to that. In my gala retirement 4 months ago, you said a few words. Again, I'll keep this brief. What is a rabbi? And amongst other things, in addition to teaching and preaching and officiating, a rabbi helps people to grapple with existential questions. A rabbi is a moral exemplar, reflecting Jewish values. Being a rabbi is being ready, willing, and able to make a call at 10 p.m. to offer consolation to a grieving congregant. It means showing up at a hospital on your day off because someone needs you. It means even coming home early from a vacation to officiate their funeral. A rabbi does all of this not because he has to, but because he would think of nothing better that he would rather do. It is who you are. Ari, even when you were a young child, you were already precociously on that journey that many assumed that it would take you to this moment. You took a few detours along the way, but you have finally arrived, and I think you're ready to step into becoming the rabbi you have always been meant to be. So let me just conclude these brief words. Moses said to Joshua, "Chazak va'amatz, be strong and courageous, as you make your mark in serving this lovely congregation, Temple Shalom, in this beautiful community in Milford."
You may be seated. Adonai, my God, God of the matriarchs, God of the patriarchs, God of the sages, and God of the great leaders of the Jewish people, I look to you to empower me to serve the good people of Temple Shalom to the very best of my ability. Grant me the discernment to know the right path for the congregation as a whole, and the sensitivity to tend to the needs of every individual within it. Invest me with the wisdom of our heritage and grant me the talent to teach our traditions in ways that are innovative, creative, and stimulating for learners of every variety. Endow me with the energy and charisma to inspire people, to model Jewish values within our community and country, pursuing justice and righteousness for all humankind and all of God's creations. Teach me to walk in your ways with all the caring and compassion of a loving parent, honoring your Torah in everything I do, doing my part to fulfill the mission of the Jewish people. Together, may we all make Temple Shalom a temple of peace, a shelter of peace, a source of peace, and a blessing. And let us say, Amen. So I have a few brief remarks. I have to say, I'm overwhelmed. There are people here who are at my bar mitzvah. There are people here who are so close to me and such a strength in the years that I was in the Berkshires. There are people here who were a huge support in New Jersey. There's family from all over. A lot of people endured the highway to get here from various places and spent hours and hours in the car just to be here. And this has just been overwhelming for me. And I'm filled, absolutely just teeming with gratitude today. And there are a number of people that I really do wish to thank. First of all, I want to thank Barbara and the choir for the beautiful music that you've lent to the service. And there was a little bit of a risk with the Kol HaNeshamah that I asked you to do, and it was beautiful. It was the perfect way to start the evening, and you just embraced it and went with it. And thank you so much. That was wonderful. And I want to thank the search team, the transition team, the dream team, that's Steve, Jeanette, Pam, Allison, Ray, Matthew, Aaron, and I'm including Howard in that also. I think that was everyone that was on that team. I want to thank you for coming to visit me in New Jersey, to see me lead services there when I was serving Temple Sharei Shalom. I want to thank you for hosting me here. I want to thank you for providing me with all of the information that I needed about doctors and dentists and karate and dance and neighborhood and everything. And I want to thank you for planning and attending a whole host of events to help me meet the members of Temple Shalom. I mean, you've really been terrific. And I'm sad that the transition committee is coming to a close, but I'm looking forward to forging new relationships with all of you and continuing what we've done. I want to thank the Board of Trustees. That's David, Howard, Patty, Debbie, Ivan, Matthew, Joel, Marilyn, Nancy, Brenda, Betty Ann, Sandy, and Ann. I think that's the full list. I think that was mostly it. Anyhow, I want to thank you for, first of all, approving the recommendation of the search committee. Because I would not be here today. I want to thank you for embracing change, trying something new, taking a risk with me. And I really do want to thank you for board meetings that are collegial, collaborative, I dare say pleasurable. I have not yet been to a board meeting over 90 minutes since I've been here. And I've actually enjoyed every single one of them so far. So thank you for that. And thank you for being so supportive of your new rabbi from even before I came here. I want to thank the local clergy who came tonight. Raise your hand if you're clergy in the community. Mike Moran over here, so thank you. And, you know, the clergy in the area have really been warm and welcoming and embraced me as a friend and a colleague, and I enjoy, you know, just your candid way in which you treat me like a friend. I love your sense of humor as well. So it's a great place to enjoy local clergy. I want to thank the town council. I've been in touch with several of them, and they all received an invitation, and some of them couldn't make it, but they have been supportive of the Jewish community, and they continue to be supportive of the Jewish community. I want to thank my friends from Waterford, Connecticut. Some of you have known me since I was the same age as my kids, if not younger, and you've always treated my family as your own. And you'd be happy to know that the people here in New Milford are like-minded, and they have been treating me like family as well. I want to thank my dear friends from the Berkshires. You encouraged me and supported me not only at the beginning of my career, but also at a time when I was really just beginning to discover who I am and who I was becoming. And I really want to thank you for all of the support during those years. I reflect back on it all the time. It just puts a real smile on my face. I want to thank my friends from New Jersey. We weathered many a storm together. And I've never seen such loyalty, devotion, and love. You're an honor to your congregation, and it is my blessing to consider you friends. I want to thank David Schaefer, the president of the congregation. Rabbis only dream of having a president like David Schaefer. He's so amiable, so eager to work things out, so capable to bridge the gaps, reach compromise. David, you go above and beyond, often working behind the scenes without taking any of the credit for keeping the ship afloat. Nobody knows, unless you've been a past president like Howard has and like Patty has, and you know, unless you've been a past president, you don't know how much work goes on like a Tuesday afternoon, and you keep the computers running and everything. Thank you for everything that you do. And I want to thank Tam. Where's Tam? There's raise her. You don't have to talk. You have to raise your hand. Tam is the best. She is the administrator par excellence. I look forward to seeing you every single day. For anyone who doesn't know, Tam is the one who really runs this place. Administrator really isn't the correct term. Really, it ought to be CEO/friend. And you're just wonderful. It was a real blessing for me to be able to share this office with you every day. And I want to thank Rabbi Charles Kroloff. Where did you go? There you are. Rabbi Charles Kroloff, been a colleague, a friend, a mentor. You were among the first New Jersey rabbis to welcome me and take me out to lunch. I really enjoyed our first visits with each other, sometimes over burritos and various things. We had some nice times. And I learned that you were someone that I could trust and someone that I could confide in. And you invested countless hours consulting with me over various issues out of sheer menschlichkeit, just because that's the kind of person that you are and you like to help people. And I'm so grateful for that. You've been a mentor to me, and you may not be the Mashiach, but you have definitely helped me find redemption. And I do want to thank Rabbi Koch and the Koch family. Rabbi Norman Koch is beloved by anyone who knew him. Zecher Tzadik Livracha. He has his fingerprint all over this place, and he made his home here. And he left big shoes to fill, but I will be doing my best to honor everything that he built here. He's a wonderful, wonderful person, very inspiring, and it is a real privilege for me to be able to serve this congregation. I do want to thank my parents and my brothers. You have been my base through thick and through thin, sometimes very thin. You've dealt with the candid, unpolished, off-duty Ari. Sometimes you call me Ari Logical, sometimes you call me Angry Ari at various times. But you have kept encouraging and inspiring me to live up to my potential and to be my best self. And thank you for showing my children as well all of the love that you've shown to me. I want to thank Sharon for being my strong support always, with an open ear and a word of encouragement. Spend hours in the car often just for a brief visit to make me whole. And to my kids, Ezra and Mayan, and I think of all the moving that I've put you through over the years, it pains me. But nothing can make me more proud than the many ways in which you have come to embrace New Milford and love our new home as much as I do. Thank you for all of your patience in the whirlwind of last year, and thank you for always lifting my spirits with your heartwarming smiles and for keeping laughter in my life every single day of the week. Blessing for the family. And to the congregation, this is unscripted. I just want to say that this is one of the happiest days of my life. And I feel so fortunate to have found myself right here. I saw this congregation years ago. I knew Rabbi Koch my whole life. I knew he was bound to be retiring at some point, and I flagged it years ago as a place that would be really nice. And then, I ended up in New Jersey, and it was a little longer before Rabbi Koch retired. But when I saw that this position was going to be available, I was so excited to apply here. I just knew that it was going to be a perfect fit. And it has been. I have to say, I've enjoyed every experience so far. Everyone has really opened up your hearts to me and welcomed me here like family. And I'm going to return that love to this congregation. And I'm going to give you everything I've got so that our services are meaningful and our programs are stimulating and our education classes are inspiring and everything that we do together makes our community stronger. So thank you for welcoming me here and giving me this opportunity to serve such a wonderful congregation. We're going to have a musical piece by my personal friend, Sherry Barnes, who's also the soloist at Temple Emmanuel in Waterford, Connecticut. I've known Sherry ever since I was about So she'll lead us in the song, and then we have a few presentations. And now, there are a few presentations, but I don't know anything about them. So, Steve, do you want to take the lead of this project?
Rabbi, we would like to present you with this hand-carved yacht. Carving is a specialty of a small village in Taparashping in Indonesia. It is one of the ways the villagers sustain themselves with the help of the fair trade brigade, a small company in California. Diwa, one of the local villagers, has been carving for about 20 years, and his work and creativity is evident in this carved yacht. Rabbi, let the many symbolic meanings of this Torah pointer remind you that we look to you to point the way, as our teacher and as our guide to understand Torah. That this yad be a symbolic connection of our history and traditions, our present and our future. Let us be a community of shared values and deeds, and let this yad be a symbol of our new shared history. As God made a covenant with Abraham, may our covenant with you be characterized by mutual respect, kindness, and generosity.
I didn't realize how well these two things go together. This is going to allow God to see the story, or hear the story. But it does say on this is not a spoon. A spoon, a story about war and peace, destruction and reconstruction. Instead of words, this story is composed of fragments of bombs melted and shaped into a spoon. A reminder. From 1964 to 1973, the secret wars waged by the United States to halt the spread of communism across Indochina. Aerial bombing rages, making Laos the most heavily bombed country in history. The United States drops 250 to 260 million bombs, the equivalent of one B-52 plane load of bombs, every every 8 minutes, 24 hours a day for 9 years. In 1975, war is over. Villagers begin to return home. A lone man also journeys west through the Emerald Mountain passes of Laos, toward the bomb crater plain of Jars. Upon returning home, villagers find downed planes and bombs scarring their fields. The lone man makes his home with them. He collects scrap metal from the planes and bombs and crafts spoons from aluminum melted in an earthen kiln. The first villager learns the trade from the lone traveler. Eventually, he teaches it to his son. The villagers begin to cast spoons from the war scrap metal scattered around their forests and fields. They take a constructive approach towards the destruction wrought by war, turning bombs to spoons to feed their families. In 2009, Article 22 develops the Peace Bomb Project in collaboration with artisans in Laos. Today, resourceful and enterprising Laotian families supplement subsistence farming activities with income by repurposing scrap metal from bombs. They shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they win war anymore. So this is just a little basket of things. You can take them out one at a time. This one has to be last.
Okay. Should I take them out now?
Yes.
Okay, now, this is a water bottle. Anyone who knows me knows I drink more water than anyone I've ever met. This is a nice big one, too. The little ones don't work so well. This is Tikkun Olam. Thank you. Thank you. We have some lifesaver mints here for those times when you need a little help being everyone else's lifesaver. The show Modern Family, which is one of my absolute favorite shows. My kids love it too, actually. We're
Well,
big
they came
fans.
up on our tour, it's both.
Oh, did they really? Wow, I had never mentioned that, but that is definitely one of our favorite family experiences watching that show. A little something for Ezra and Mayan over here. I don't know much of the yeah, do you want to see? I don't think they want to come up.
We wanted to welcome them.
Thank you. It says, for your weekly hangout spot, this must be for the Main Street Coffee shop. The Barkery Boutique, something for my dog Belu. Twizzlers, because this team loves Twizzlers and knows how much I love Twizzlers, so you can find over this. Oh,
Right, now, make sure you put the quote on there first.
okay, all right. It says, reach out your hand if your cup be empty. If your cup is full, may it be again. Let it be known there is a fountain that was not made by the hands of men. I know this. Ripple in still water, when there is no pebble tossed nor wind to blow. Oh, hey, nice. It's a Jerry Garcia tie with matching yarmulke. Sorry, that was a balloon, don't worry. But with a matching yarmulke to go with it. And on our retreat, it's all Grateful Dead themed. So I'm being very much in anticipation. I love it. Very, very cool. And these are my colors.